Welcome back, friends. Today we have two more upcoming indie games to get excited for. And these games are in the genre of Metroidvania, so for any of you Metroidvania fans, I think you're really going to enjoy these. So, first up, we have this upcoming Metroidvania game called Eden's Guardian. And Eden's Guardian presents itself as a dark fantasy pixel art Metroidvania. This game is being developed by Vorigin Game Studios, and this game studio has somewhere between 2 to 10 employees only, and the game studio is somewhere in Spain. Now, this game previously had a Kickstarter, and it was successfully funded. And so this game is not exactly unheard of, but I don't think it's had that much advertising or marketing currently, as it's still in development. But this game is going to be available on Steam, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and also for Nintendo Switch. Now, a little bit about Eden's Guardian. So Eden's Guardian is a challenging Metroidvania experience that's set in a vast, interconnecting world with medieval and fantasy aesthetics. It's an intriguing story with deep lore that you'll slowly uncover as you explore the world. You'll fight epic boss battles with smooth and tight gameplay that's polished for both combat and exploration. Now, currently there is no official release date, but since this was a successful Kickstarter, we can assume that to already have quite a bit of development done. And so it probably won't take too long for this game to come out. And currently there is no demo available, but we don't know if they'll have one available at some point in the future, so let's keep our eyes peeled for that. Now, based on what we can see from the trailers here and a little bit of the gameplay, Eden's Guardian is a Metroidvania that does bear a resemblance to previous Metroidvania games we've seen like Blasphemous and Last Faith, but seems to be slightly more toned down in terms of violence and gore. And one of the more unique features of this game is that your hero can use their sword to teleport to different areas. So essentially you can throw your sword and teleport to that location, and you can use that to the benefit of both the exploration and in battle as well. So that is going to be a very useful tactical tool to have in the world. And this game does look like a lot of fun. It looks like there's going to be a lot of action in here, a lot of battles. The difference between some Metroidvanias is that some of them have maybe too much of one thing. And while we don't know the full scope of this game just yet, it looks to have a decent amount of both and a lot of challenging areas to explore and to get around. But the final product, of course, remains to be seen. It does look to have a lot of very exciting combat and some very tough looking bosses. And I enjoy the fact that you do have a lot of what look to be combo attacks and also something like an ultimate attack where you can attack everyone on the screen. So in terms of combat, it does look pretty solid. Now on to the next game. So the next game we have here is called Altered Alma. And this is an action RPG Metroidvania. And this game is being developed by Two Awesome Studio, who, believe it or not, is also from Spain, but they also have a presence in Netherlands as well. Now, Two Awesome Studio has quite a bit of experience with other games, and Altered Alma also has a previously successful Kickstarter. As per the website, the game should be available in the future on Steam, also Steam Deck verified, PS4 and PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. And a little bit about Altered Alma. So this game is a Metroidvania that combines the classic formula with RPG elements, as well as some dating sim features. This is a gripping space opera that leads you through a futuristic cyberpunk Neo-Barcelona. You can discover all kinds of new routes, gain powerful upgrades, and take on challenging enemies in brutal combat. And this game currently does not have an official release date. However, Steam, there is a demo available for you to try out if you are a PC player. Now, an interesting thing to note about the developers of Altered Alma, once again, Two Awesome Studio, is that they are not only developers, but they've also done a lot of porting of different games. So they've ported quite a few different games to console, and they did the port of Blasphemous. And speaking of which, Altered Alma and Blasphemous actually have a sort of collab going on, and I think this was part of the Kickstarter itself. And so you'll be able to do some sort of special dungeons or stages based on the world of Blasphemous, so that is an extra little Easter egg to look out for when you play the game. Alter Alma looks to be a very combat-heavy game, which for me is a good thing because I do enjoy Metroidvanias that have a lot of combat mechanics and gameplay to them, and this looks to be no exception. You can pull off all kinds of crazy combinations and even do some really crazy finishers here. So depending on how you build your character, you can take on many enemies at once or be a powerhouse on one-on-one battles. And once again, I did mention it does have a bit of a dating sim feature to it, although this is optional, so it's not mandatory for anyone who's not interested in that sort of thing. But for those of you who are, it does add an extra little spicy layer for you. So keep that in mind if you're looking into picking up this game. And Ultra Alma does actually do a pretty good job of pulling off these animations. They are very vibrant and colorful, and even the cutscenes themselves are a job well done. So yes, once again, these are two upcoming indie games. We have Eden's Guardian, which is again a more dark fantasy art style that is reminiscent of games like Blasphemous and Last Faith. And then you have Altered Alma, which is more of a colorful, vibrant, and cyberpunkish style Metroidvania. But both look to be very exciting and very unique games if you are a fan of the Metroidvania genre. Now, in terms of gaming, I understand there's a large group of people who aren't fans of Metroidvania games because maybe they feel too simple or too repetitive in some kind of way. But personally, as for me, I really enjoy Metroidvania games, and some of my most fondest memories are from playing Metroidvania games. Those of you who are Metroidvania fans already know Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's sort of a staple for any Metroidvania player and enjoyer. But I remember putting in so many hours just running through the castle, exploring, fighting all kinds of weird, crazy enemies, getting all kinds of new weapons, and just finding all kinds of unique rooms and different atmospheres depending on which part of the castle you were in. So for me, I am a big enjoyer of Metroidvania games, and I think they are very easy to pick up and play at any point in time. Once again, if you're a fan of simple and easy to enjoy games, I think a lot of people who have Nintendo Switch or even who use the Steam Deck end up playing a lot of these Metroidvania games because of that very reason. But yeah, each game is unique and it has its own soul and its own aspects that make it a fun experience overall. I do actually have a few more Metroidvania games that are coming up, a few more indie Metroidvania games coming, so I'll probably share those in another video in the future. Which one of these two are you looking forward to playing the most? Do you have any other indie game recommendations for me? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoy gaming content like gameplay, narratives, game reviews, gaming news, and commentary, consider liking this video and subscribe to The Hero's Blade. Until next time, wish you all the best and God bless.